So, who would like to share what they, one thing that they wrote? Kylie,
There's ratio tables.
there's what?
Ratio tables.
Okay. And ratio tables show what? What type of ratios? Alright, what else?
When one of the units is money, you put the dollar sign, you put the money on top and then the amount
Okay,
on the
that's
bottom.
for rates and unit rate and unit price. I'm not gonna put that on there today. Yes.
I said you can show ratios by putting 3 to 2 or 2.
Say that again.
Like for one of the ways when you find ratio, you can put 3 to 2 or the fraction guard.
Okay, so, we'll say how. You said 3 to 2? Okay. And make sure, guys, that you understand that that is 3 to 2, not 3 halves. Okay, that's not a fraction. Cristiano.
There are 3 different ways to write ratios. There are 3 different ways to write ratios.
Okay. All right. What else?
Closed and open number lines.
Those are inequalities. Closed and open number lines are inequalities.
A ratio is a comparison between two or more numbers.
Numbers or quantities? All right. What else?
You can work with tables and double number lines.
And they show what?
The ratios,
What kind?
usually equivalent.
Can't spell. All right. What else? Yeah, there are 2 very, very important things that are not on this page that should have been the very first thing you wrote on your page.
On the simplest form of ratio, we have to divide by equal
No.
numbers.
What are the 3 most important things you need to know about a ratio? The 3 ways to write them. So we have the fraction way. What's one of the other 2 ways? Camden. Okay. What's the other way, Cristiano? The other thing that is most important about ratios is what about the way it's presented to you? Why is that so important? What's important? What matters? So we can just throw ratios any way we want. So what matters? Ada. Order matters. Y'all have got to know this. So if you do not have that on your sheet, you need to put that on your sheet. Order matters. And you're going to find that out today when we're doing our practice problems. All right, what else? What else do you guys have? So Noah, you have something about equivalent ratios on yours. What did you write about equivalent ratios?
I put that equivalent means equal.
All right. So
I put 1/2 is equal to 2/4.
okay, so everybody needs to write that as well. Equivalent equals equal, and then the example is, excuse me, that he gave. Sorry, is 1/2 equals 2/4, right? Alright, and essentially, when we do this 1/2 equals 2/4, you think about, okay, I multiply this by 2, so I have to multiply that by 2. Finding equivalent ratios, you have to multiply or divide the top and the bottom by what?
The same number.
You have to multiply or divide by the same number. Yes.
I don't know. To find the simplest form of ratio, find the greatest common factor in both numbers and divide.
So it's just simplifying, which is usually, if you're gonna simplify, you wanna write it in the fraction form, and then you just divide. Alright, anything else we wanna add? Alright, go ahead and get out the sheet that I just passed out to you. We are going to glue this in, but we're gonna use it for the next 3 days, give or take. Today, tomorrow, Monday / Tuesday. Alright, you're also going to need a highlighter of some sort, so we'll grab that as well. So a ratio, as I think, Jonathan, you told us is a comparison of two quantities. You told us that, right? Alright, so go ahead, make sure you highlight that. It can be written 3 ways. So ratio form or colon form, fraction form, and word form. And go ahead and write the fraction form this way. So, because that's how you're gonna see it, you're not gonna see it with the diagonal slash. And it says, simplify when possible. And Jonathan also told us that you wanna divide by the greatest number that goes into the numbers. And then this last one is really important. So although we can write a ratio in fraction form, it is not a fraction. So make sure that word stands out to you. Alright, so same thing as yesterday. I want you to go ahead, glue this in on your page. If your group needs glue, that's fine. Just get one from the bin, use it, and then return it. And make sure you title this page EOG Review Ratios Notes page. Pages. Sorry, I forgot what I was doing when I wrote the title, so. Give me a thumbs up when you have this done. And raise your hand if,
Amin Hazim, please report to the cafeteria. Amin Hazim, please report to the cafeteria.
raise your hand if you're missing somebody from your group today. Zoe?
I don't know what this.
Oh, that's right. She's got all the books too?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Alright, go ahead and turn the page. You need to write EOG review ratios. This is gonna be the page where you do your, questions today when we go over them. And then the next page is EOG review ratio stations. Alright, stand up when you have this done. Alright, go ahead and have a seat.
With Mr. J. So here we are at the introduction to ratios. So we're going to go through the basics of ratios, how we write out ratios, and just talk about what a ratio is. And as you can see, there are two numbers on your screen. We have the top problem, ratio problem, with strawberries and oranges, and then the bottom with basketballs and soccer balls. Now, when we're talking ratios, a ratio shows the relationship between different amounts. So we're going to take a look at the quantity of one thing, right, the number of something, compared to the number of something else. So for example, number one, we have the ratio of strawberries to oranges. So we're going to compare the quantity or number of strawberries to the quantity or number of oranges. And there's a few different ways we can write these ratios out. So let's first start by counting the number of strawberries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 strawberries, 2. How many oranges? Well, 1, 2, 3. 6 to 3. So this shows for every 6 strawberries, there are 3 oranges. And again, strawberries has to come first, the 6, because it comes first in our ratio problem, right? Strawberries to oranges. We can also use a colon to represent this ratio. So 6 to 3, or we can use a fraction. Whatever your numerator is, the top number, that's what comes first in your ratio. So strawberries, 6 strawberries to 3 oranges. Now, just like fractions, when it comes to ratios, you want to simplify the ratio if it applies, and here it does. So we need to find the greatest common factor, or what can divide into both 6 and 3 to simplify here. And 3 is a common factor between 6 and 3, and it's the greatest common factor. So let's divide both the 6 and the 3 by 3. Well, 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'll do the colon way here first. Or I can put 2 to 1. Or the fraction, 2 to 1. And let's take a look at our picture over here. And for every 2 strawberries, there is 1 orange. So our simplified ratio matches our picture over there of the strawberries and oranges, okay? So again, we can use the word 2, a colon, or a fraction. Whatever comes first in your ratio, right, strawberries to oranges up here in the original problem, needs to come first in your ratios when you write out the answer. Now, oranges, there could be a problem that's a ratio of oranges to strawberries. In that case, you need to put the oranges first and the strawberries second. So let's take a look at number 2. Ratio of basketballs to soccer balls. Well, there are 5 basketballs and there are 8 soccer balls. So we could put 5 to 8. We could use a colon, and that represents 5 to 8. Or we could use a fraction, 5 to 8. Now this particular ratio cannot be simplified. The greatest common factor and only factor between 5 and 8 is 1. So this is simplified. So for every 5 basketballs, there are 8 soccer balls. And remember, basketballs needed to come first because it came first in our original problem. So there you have it. There's our introduction to ratios. We learned about what a ratio is, and then a few different ways we can write ratios out. I will have a few follow-up videos on ratios where we dive a little deeper. I will drop the links to those down in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, peace.
Alright, so again, very basic. We're just focusing on ratios today, just kind of refresh our brains a little bit about, because it's been a while. Other than the benchmarks, we haven't really talked about ratios lately. Alright, so go to your EOG released questions on your iPads. And go to number 30. Alright, thumbs up when you get here. Okay, so let's go ahead and read the question. We're going to annotate it and then we're going to solve it. Make sure you're solving in your notebook on the page that you created, but annotating, circling your answer on your iPad. So a restaurant orders corn tortillas and flour tortillas. The ratio of the number of corn tortillas to the number of flour tortillas is 2 to 3. What is the ratio of the number of flour tortillas to the total number of tortillas? So what's important here? It's important. Mikael?
Number of corn tortillas to the number of flour tortillas.
Alright, so you gotta make sure you have the word ratio. So number of corn tortillas to the number of flour tortillas is 2 to 3. Alright, what else is important?
What is the ratio of the number of flour tortillas to the total number of tortillas? Yeah.
Why did I put total in a different color? Why did I put total in a different color? Aiden.
So it stands out.
So it stands out. Well, why is that important? Why is total important? Ronnie?
Because that's like the max we have, so like the most we have.
So it's the most that we have. So when we're doing our ratio, 2 things. One, we need to know that flour tortillas to total tortillas. So the total tortillas, is that going to be 2 or 3? The total number of tortillas we have. Kylie. Well, what is the 3 representing? So is that the total? It's not the total. How do we find the total? What do we have to, excuse me, what do we have to do? Emma,
Add
what do we have to add?
2 and 3.
And why do we have to add 2 plus 3? Why do we have to add that 2 plus 3? Kaya.
Because that's what the ratio of the tortillas and the flour tortillas are.
Right, so because that's the total number of the flour tortillas and the corn tortillas. So the question itself is asking us what is the ratio of flour tortillas, which we know is 3, to the total number of tortillas altogether, which we have found is 5. So our answer to this one is B. So whenever it's asking you for the total in a ratio, what do you have to do to find the total? Camden, add what? Right, so you have to add those 2 numbers to the ratio, or in the ratio. Alright, make sure you get this down. Good gracious Lord have mercy. Alright, go to 31. 31 is our next one. Alright, so 31, this is what kind of table? Before you even get started, what kind of table is this? Fill out.
I was gonna say a ratio table.
It's a ratio table. Yeah, it's a ratio table. So it says in the table, the ratio of y to x is consistent. What is the value of the missing number? So with us knowing that this is a ratio table, we know what about this table? What do we know about all the numbers in there? They're what? No, they're equivalent. So we essentially have to look at our original ratio, which is, because it's y to x, so this comes first. So it's 5 to 2. That's our original ratio. Now, when you're finding equivalent ratios, do you use the next one in the table, or do you always use that original one? What do we do, Christiana? You always use that original one. So essentially you're saying to yourself, okay, well what times 5 gives me 10? What times 5 gives me 10? Gemma? 2. So if I'm multiplying by 2 over here, what must happen over here? What do I have to do? If I multiplied 5 times 2 to get 10, what do I have to do to 2? And it's got to work. William? Multiply by 2. All right, so I want you guys to answer this question. Stand up when you have your answer. did it, so stop drawing a rainbow and stand up like I told you to. Show how you do that. You circling something doesn't show me how you do it. Show me. So do I need to take that as an computer? So we've done 2 problems. Just follow along. Let's see. Guys, where is your work supposed to go? Close your eyes, have none of it, since you don't know how to follow your computer. Alright, have a seat. Put your pencils down. If you are really struggling to not be doing things that you're not supposed to be doing on your iPad, just close it because I'm presenting all the information that's on your iPad right here. Okay? So if you cannot be mature enough to have an iPad in front of you and follow along with us, just close your iPad. When we look at this, we have to go from our original ratio to here and our original ratio to here, correct? Well, can we multiply 5 by something and pull out a random number? I mean, yeah, we can, but is it going to be right? No, so which number do we have to use? Noah. Which number do we have to use? We just said we don't know what to multiply 5 by, so what's the other number? Yes. So, Noah, and I know why you said 5. What do you multiply 2 by to get 10? 5. So if I multiply this side by 5, what do I have to do with that side? Not divide it, but multiply it by 5 as well. 5 times 5 gives us what? 25. So that should be your answer. All right, go to 33. All right, this one says a set of stickers contains 4 hearts for every 6 stars. Which choice contains an equivalent ratio of hearts to stars? So what is important in this first sentence? What's important in that one? Delilah.
Stickers contain 4 hearts for every 6 stars.
Okay, so 4 hearts to every 6 stars. So I'm going to stop here real quick. I'm going to write 4H, that looks like a B, to 6S. That is my original ratio, correct? Do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. What's important in the next sentence? What's important in that next sentence? Isaac. The whole sentence is important. All right, so which one contains an equivalent ratio of hearts to stars? Now, equivalent ratio is really important as well, so make sure you identify that. I want you to answer this question. I'm not going to say anything else, just answer it, stand up when you are done. Make sure you show your work in your notebook. 45 seconds if you're still working. All right. So I set all these up to make it a little bit easier to find the equivalent ratio of 4 to 6. Now, how many of you guys, when you originally started, crossed off A as it not being equivalent? Why does A not look equivalent to 4 to 6? Camden.
Because if you multiply the ratio by 2, it's already more than 6 times.
Right. 9. This number 9 right here is kind of it's making it a little bit weird because we're looking at 4 and 6 and we're like, those are even numbers, so how is 9 going to work? So initially, you probably mark that one off. Okay? But as you go through, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to multiply, or I'm going to divide 4 divided by 2, and then I'm going to divide 6 divided by 2, because I have to do the same to top and bottom, right?
Yeah.
This one doesn't work because 6 divided by 2 is what? 3. Okay? The next one, same thing. So I go from 4 to 1, I'm going to divide, that is not a division school. I'm going to divide by 4. Well, when I divide 6 by 4, do I get 3? No, so that one also does not work. All right, here, instead of dividing, what am I doing? Multiplying by 2, and then multiply by 2. Doesn't work. So now I'm completely lost in the sauce because I'm like, the only one that looks like would be an easy no is the only one that I haven't tried. But I'm saying to myself, well, I don't know any number that I can multiply 4 by to get 6. How do I figure this out? What is a strategy that I can do? Lily? Simplify? What do you mean?
Like you simplify the first ratio, 4 to 6.
So-
You simplify it.
Okay, you can simplify it, but you still, that gives you a couple extra steps you have to do. What's another way we can figure this out? Troy?
And divide it in half and then multiply it by
So that's still 2 steps. I want to try to eliminate as much as possible. I've already done 3 things. I'm now at a point where I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I did wrong. Like at this point with this question, which is actually a very easy question, you're probably, and it's number 33, and so you're halfway through the test. So at this point, you're like, I thought I was going to do really well in this question. Now you're starting to play tricks with your mind. Keeping it simple, what is something we can do?
divide 6 by 4.
Divide 6 by 4. When you divide 6 divided by 4, what do you get?
1 1/2.
1.5. You multiply 4 times 1.5, and you multiply 6 times 1.5, and that is actually your answer. Okay? So, a problem that should actually be really easy is not easy because why? What do you end up having to deal with? So you end up dealing with decimals or fractions, and that's where this question gets hard. So guys, even if you're like, that's not the answer, it's a good thing we went through all of them, isn't it? Because had I not, I'd have been just like, oh, it's got to be the 2 to 4. Follow this process, go through that. All right, go to section 3, number 1. I feel like we've seen this question 1,004 times, but we're gonna go over it again. All right, Alan makes a fruit salad using strawberries and blueberries. He uses 5 cups of strawberries for every 3 cups of blueberries. Which measure represents the amount of strawberries for every 1 cup of fruit salad? All right, so again, we're looking for part to the total, right? So which part are we looking for? Which part are we looking for? What does it tell us in there? Mika, is your hand raised? What part are we looking for?
Which measure represents the amount of
I don't want the whole sentence again. What part are we looking for? Just give me the word.
strawberries?
Thank you. All right, so we're looking for just the strawberries. All right, what total are we looking for? What total are we looking for? Is your hand raised? Go ahead.
I was thinking, and then I don't know.
Don't not know. Tell me what you were going to say, because you're probably right.
I was gonna say 1 cup of fruit. Well, yeah, 1 cup of fruit salad.
Right, so we're looking for the entire cup of fruit salad. So does that mean that we are going to have 3 or 5, or are we looking for everything? We're looking for everything, so what do we have to do if we're looking for everything with the 3 and the 5? We have to add them. Oops, add, not fraction. Which gives us 8. Now, how many strawberries do we have? How many strawberries do we have? Leo. How many strawberries, babe? Read the question. It's not a trick question. How many strawberries do we have? No. Read the question, please. What does it say? Read the second sentence, the first part of it. Leo, we are on number 1 in the 3rd section. I need you to read the second sentence, the first part. If it's not on there, read it right up here, please. Thank you. So we have 5 strawberries. To what? 5 strawberries to what? Gemma?
3 blueberries.
No. What is our ratio that we are trying to find? Camden?
It's 5 to 8.
8. Yes. Y'all, this is disturbing. You do know ratios, rates, unit rates, percents are 30% of the EOG, right? Like y'all do realize that? Go to number 3. Sorry, number 3. So this is a unit rate question, but I feel like this is a fairly easy one that we should be able to do. All right, so it says Connor reads 28 pages of a book every 2 days. The table shows his progress. if he reads the same, or if he reads at the same rate each day and finishes the book in 15 days, how many pages is the book? So what is important in the first part of that first sentence? What's important? What's important, Zoe? Just the first sentence. What's important?
28 pages of a book every 2 days.
Yes, that is our rate. So 28 pages in 2 days. All right. Then down here, what's important in that sentence? Aiden.
The whole sentence.
The whole sentence, but we're going to highlight very specific things. So same rate each day, and then finish the book in 15 days. How many pages are in the book? So, starting with our original ratio, we have 28 pages in 2 days. There are a couple different ways you can figure this out. You can find the unit rate of how many pages he reads per 1 day. Or you can say to yourself, well, what times 2 gives me 15? It's really your preference. So what do you guys want to do? Okay, so if I wanted to find the unit rate, I gotta set it to 1 day. How do I go from 2 to 1? Cristiano? Divide by 2. So Cristiano, if I divide the bottom by 2, what do I have to do at the top? Divide by 2. So 14 pages in 1 day. Now, how do I use that ratio, 14 to 1, to help me figure out how many pages are in the entire book? Right, so I set it to 14 to 1 equals 15 over something. And I multiply 1 times 15, that's a terrible multiplication, and 14 times 15. Stand up when you have your answer. Alright, Kyra, what'd you get?
210.
So the book was 210 pages. Alright, how many of you guys remember finding unit rate? Okay, this is the type of question that you're gonna see tomorrow. Alright, last one for today. Go to number 4. So this one says which table shows 2 ratios that are equivalent to 9 halves, or 9 over 2, sorry. Probably just said it as a fraction. Alright, what's important in our question? What's important in our question? Kaya?
2 ratios that are equivalent to 9 to 2.
2 ratios that are equivalent to 9 over 2. So 9 over 2 starts all of them. So if I went from, oh Lord. So if I went from 9 to 18, what do I multiply 9 by to get 18? Noah. So I multiply this by 2, which means I gotta multiply that by 2. Alright? Works? Thumbs up? Okay? Now, if I go from 9 to 27, what do I multiply 9 by to get 27? Emma?
3.
So I have to multiply this by 3, which means I have to multiply that by 3. 2 times 3 is, so then essentially, that's our answer. Right? Remember, when you're finding equivalent ratios, you always have to use that first original ratio. You don't want to go 18 to 27 because you're never going to find the equivalent ratio. Alright? And we all know, like, we definitely can look at this one and say, no way. Right?
Yeah.
This one, no way, because you're multiplying by half, 0.5, and then by 2, and that's not gonna work. And then that one as well. All right. Oops. Come on. So these are the different stations that you're going to be going to today, and you're actually going to be working in your stations with your groups. I did change the station setup a little bit. This thing was so slow. Alright, so these are the different stations. So my red group is Lily, Kaya, Troy, Wyatt. My orange group is Gemma, Zoe, B, Elisa, Delilah, Kyra. My blue group is Noah, Kylie, Ronnie, Zoe, R, which Kyra, if you want to slide over to the blue group since Zoe is not here, that's fine. Aiden, Emma, Cristiano, Kaylee is my green group. My yellow group is William, Olivia, Jonathan, Levi, which is just William and Jonathan today. And then the pink group is Yasmin, Camden, Isaac, Leo, and Mikhail. So if Mikhail, if you want to join the yellow group today, that's fine. Just because we have some people that are missing to kind of put a few more in. Now, blue group, you guys are starting with the equivalent ratios. So you do have to go on your iPad because this is an online activity. You're still completing it in your notebooks. So blue group, you guys are going to Williams group. So Noah, Kylie, Ronnie, you guys go over there, and then Kyra, if you're joining that group. Station 2 is the digital escape room. You are working together on this one. And that is my orange group, which is Gemma, Zoe, B, Elisa, Delilah. Are you staying with that group, Kyra? Okay. William, get up. Alright, so orange group, go where Kyra is. And Elisa, sorry. Alright, station 3, equivalent ratios, pass cards. This is independent, and I believe this is online. I believe, maybe not. Station 4, which is the yellow group. You guys are working on versatilles. So my yellow group is William and Jonathan. Guys, get up. And station 5 and 6, you guys are both working on the same. One of them you guys are just gonna have to do online. The other one you can have a paper copy, which is nice. And that is Lily, Kaya, Wyatt, and Troy. All right, so get up if you're not in a group. Like, get up if I haven't told you where to go yet. If you're in the teacher group, just go to the back table and stand there with your notebook and everything. So teacher group is Yasmin, Camden, Isaac, Leo, Mikhail. Mikhail, are you staying with that group or are you joining the yellow group? Okay, so then stand back by the back table. So my red group. Kaya and Millie, just go join Wyatt and Troy since they're already there. If you want to do it online, you can, or if you want to So Aiden, Emma, Cristiano, Kaylee, get together. You guys can pick one of these 3 tables up here to sit at. And you guys are just going to stay there. these are verse steps. So on the back, they should be in order 1 through 12. You flip them over, those shapes. So you can pick anything that has to do with ratios. So like let's say you do this one, bicycles to wheels. And you count there's 3 bicycles to 6 wheels. And you say 3 to, so it'd be 3 to 6. So that'd be one of those 3. 3 to 6. So I would go, you need to flip it over. Okay. And then essentially, you should make this picture on the bottom of your page. Alright, so you can pick any one of these that has to do with ratios. Don't go any further than ratios. Okay? Alright, so you get a book. And you get a book. Okay? Then what group needs